order. Thank you, whoever did that. Just want to remind everybody about their Zoom etiquette. We will be having quite a few bits of information throughout the annual meeting today. There is a way of leaving a message in the chat section if you have a question. Otherwise, there will be a time at the end of the meeting for any questions or comments. So I would encourage all of you, unless you're the speaker, to mute yourself, or maybe somebody has done that already, I don't know. But could I have a motion to open the annual meeting? And I'm just looking around. Lisa Barrett makes that motion. Peter Wybron seconds it. If there's anybody opposed, would you just say that or raise your hand so I can know that you're opposed? So it passes. So let me just make some opening comments. First of all, welcome to the Finger Lakes Trail Conference 2021 annual meeting. I'm proud to say that we're able to do this again as a virtual meeting in order for us to keep moving the organization forward. We always have to make accommodations, and in order to keep moving forward, that's exactly what we do. I'm hoping to return to a new normal in the near future. I have no idea when that will be or what it will look like, but I'm certainly looking forward to leave this pandemic behind and get on with things again. I want to thank everybody for attending today. And I also want to just take a moment for Debbie Hunt. I don't think I see her on the call today. Most of you know Debbie as our office manager, director of operations now. Debbie lost her daughter about a week ago, and I would like to take a moment of silence to respect Debbie's loss, and also any of you that are on this Zoom meeting. If you've had loss throughout this past year, we'd like to reflect and on that as well. So I'd just like for a moment of silence.
He's just calling a moment of silence for Debbie Hunt. Oh, what happened to her dog? Oh, that's horrible.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is approval of the 2020 minutes. So I'll turn it over to Lori Torelli, our secretary.
Good afternoon, everybody. The minutes were circulated with the annual meeting reminder. They're also available in the chat. Were there any edits or adjustments that were necessary? You'll have to raise your hand or call out if there were any changes. If not, would somebody make a motion to accept the minutes as written for our 2019 virtual meeting?
We'll take that, Roger Hopkins, followed by a second from Terry Meacham. Any further discussion? All in favor? Excuse me, if you're opposed, would you raise your hand or say that you are? Okay, it passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. I'd like to just take a minute and thank the outgoing board members from this past class that are leaving us. They've been very dedicated during these unusual circumstances to attend meetings and to continue to work as leaders for the FLT. So let me see, Ann Bailey, I don't see her here. Ann Bailey is leaving, but she's also reapplying for the next round. Scott Brooks, don't see Scott here, but Scott is
Scott is on with Deb Nero.
Yeah, he just waved. He's at the
oh, okay. Thank you, Scott. Rich Breslin is also part of this class. He resigned at the last board meeting, but is also part of this class. And then Terry Meacham. Terry, I know Terry's here. He's on the phone. Terry is re-upping for the next group as well. So I want to personally, on behalf of myself and also the FLT, thank each one of you for your work and your dedication to keeping the Finger Lakes Trail alive and well and moving forward. There are other board members here. Let's see. Lori Chiarelli is here as our secretary. Lisa Barrett is here as Vice President of Finance. Lori Andreka is a board member. Roger Hopkins is a board member. Donna Flood is a board member. Peter Wybron is a board member. Willa Powell is our treasurer. Linda Rummel retired, but as Vice President of Trail Quality. Joe Taylor is our Director of Mapping. Peter Hagmeyer is part of the board. Tim Holleran is going to be part of the board in a few minutes. Chris DeGolier will be part of the board in a few minutes as well, and Terry Meacham and myself. I think I got everybody that are board members here.
Okay.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is the vote for board members placed in nomination. The nominating committee is presenting the following slate for the Board of Managers. The first one is Ann Bailey. The second person is Christine DeGolier. The third person is Tom Holohan. Fourth person is Terry Meacham. And the fifth person is Lizette Smith. That rounds out the nominations from the nominating committee. There were no nominations from the general membership. So could I have a motion to accept the slate as presented? Linda
So-
Rummel, second, Lori Andreka. Any further discussion? Roger Hopkins.
Can we call Tom Tim Hallahan?
Yeah.
I think you called him Tom, sorry.
Oh dear. I am sorry. I am sorry, Tim. My apologies. As you get to know me, I do that a lot. So my apologies. Thank you, Roger. Any further discussion? So I'm going to call the vote. Is there anybody opposed at this meeting to the slate? We also have paper ballots and we also have electronic ballots. So I'll turn it over to Lori. If you can give us a summary of that.
Sure, we have, so 24 present in support of the slate of candidates. Sorry, I just moved my Zoom window. Electronically, we had 61, so that takes us up to 85 for the slate of candidates. And for paper ballots, we had a little bit of an issue with the office and the power being out. Right now, it does look like there were, of the 315 paper ballots that have been counted, there was no opposition to the slate of candidates. We will release the exact number in the draft minutes. So no opposition anywhere at this point to the slate of candidates.
Thank you, Lori. Just the backdrop to the backstory to this is the power at the office has been lost as a result of a substation hit. ISIG is working on it, and once we get it up and running again, we can make it official, but that's as close as we're going to get it at this point. So as a result of all the voting, electronic, paper ballots, and here at the meeting, congratulations to the new slate of Board of Managers. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. Next item on the agenda is a proposed bylaws change. This is related to the membership area. The current membership section 4 dues reads, such annual dues as may be prescribed from time to time by the board shall be paid by all members except such as may be elected by the board to membership in class or classes of membership expressly exempted from this requirement. Dues paid by a new member between January 1st and April 1st will carry through to April 1st of the following year. The annual dues are due and payable April 1st of each year. The proposal that is standing on the table right now is to, and I'll read it for Article 5, Section 4. It's written simply, annual membership dues will be on a rolling membership renewal schedule. And I would just like to speak for a moment to the rationale for this. With our current database and its capabilities, we can keep track of membership as people enter into the system. And it seemed very fair and equitable to have a full 12-month from the point of entry till a 12 months later for the next year's renewal. We can do that now. We actually did not change any of the memberships levels. We actually enhanced it in a couple of places. One is with RTCs and also maintainers and also trail or volunteer extenders. Oh, everything's good. Sorry. So, so that's our rationale, and that's how we'd like to present it. The board is in favor of this recommendation. So do I have a motion on the floor to accept this as proposed? I see Donna Flood, and do I have a second? Lori Andraka will second it. Any discussion? So I'll take first the people here in the meeting. Is there anybody opposed to this? No opposition, Lori? So if you could report on the electronic and also the paper ballots.
Okay, so with the live participants, it's 24 in favor. From the electronic participants, 62 for the bylaw changes, 1 against. And again, out of the 315 paper ballots at this point, we did not see any opposition. So we have just 1 opposing vote.
So the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. And I believe it will help us to keep moving forward. The next item on the agenda is the current financial position and fund balances. Willa, I'll turn it over to you. Willa Powell is our treasurer.
Thank you. Would the host be able to put up the graphic? Because the numbers are difficult to conceptualize, just reading them, I did prepare a single slide, a table comparing last.
Gray backpack, you know, that we had taped. It's in this box here.
I don't know.
Okay, stop talking because I heard something else going on and I wasn't sure what.
Well,
Christy-
I don't know what graphic you want put up. You can share your screen, but I didn't receive any graphic.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, I sent that to Deb.
Okay.
It is on the Board of Managers meeting page.
Let me, if you give me screen sharing, I do have it up. Let's see, share. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Broadcast. Is it
It looks good.
sharing it now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Is
we're
this-
halfway there. Yeah, I think you have to click the share a second time once you've selected the window you want to show.
I don't see any. Oh, so I have to select the window. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you,
Very
Roger, for this. I'm glad it wasn't too complicated, but just reading you a bunch of numbers on our financial position didn't seem like it would be very satisfactory. So I'm showing you the year-over-year comparison of July 31st, 2020 to July 30th of this year. As you can see, our checking and saving numbers are very much in line with what they were last year. We're in 5,665 in our checking account, $31,055 in our savings, and not to alter our. We have the remainder of the rows are aggregated together in what is referred to as our purpose investment funds, but they disaggregate. The Cinoti Stewardship Fund is, as of the end of July, is over $1 million. The Endowment Fund at just under $500,000. And then we have temporary funds, which are used generally in the same year, donations to and the like. And then donations for that are unrestricted. This currently stand at $120,308. The two things I'd like to point out first and foremost is that while the fund is quite large, this year we're making a substantial purchase. We hope eventually from us by the DEC, New York State DEC, but in the meantime, we are making a purchase for and requiring $275,000 for that land purchase in a vital part of the trail. So that's represents about 20 plus minus 20% of our stewardship fund that has been accumulating for decades. We won't always have purchases of this size, but if we had to make several purchases like this in the next couple of years, the Cinoti fund could be severely depleted. But we're in good shape there. The other thing that I want to point out, though, is if we look to the unrestricted funds, this is the bottom corner of the table. This is the only resource we have short of current revenues. In other words, our membership dues, grants, map sales, and so on. This is the only resource we have to balance our, should we not take in an and this is a margin. So should there be folks out in membership that are looking to make contributions above and beyond their membership, the Cinoti Fund for land purchase, an excellent choice, but also donations that are unrestricted, that are not identified for a particular fund, can help us, especially now when we are transitioning from an all volunteer organization to professional organization where we have hired staff to do what in the past volunteers have done. So, our budget is, our current operating budget came in at $437,870. Our revenues are currently at around $230,000. If all revenues stop today, it would eat up the unrestricted fund in a single year. So if folks are inclined to make donations on an unrestricted basis, this can be very valuable to us in handling our ongoing current operation. I think that covers certainly our cash position and our fund balances. I return the floor to you, President.
Thank you, Willa. I'm going to ask that Lisa Barrett, our Vice President of Finances, also comment about finances, and then what I will do is just open up for any questions related to finances right now. So Lisa?
Thanks, Pat, and thanks, Willa. Despite the continued pandemic, the FLTC remains on solid financial footing. We enjoy continued growth in membership. Our staff members are hardworking and knowledgeable, and our volunteers are dedicated to the organization and to the trail we all enjoy and love. And you told me, Pat, to make it short and sweet, so there you go.
I thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Does anybody, if you have a question related to the finances, would you raise your hand or call out so we can recognize you? Linda Rummel?
Excuse me. I noticed that pardon me, the restricted, I haven't talked for so long, the restricted fund is down a little bit. And I'm just wondering if there's an off the top of your head, an explanation for that.
You're talking about the fifth row?
Yeah, the one that's restricted, like donations for lean-tos and so forth.
It's down compared to last year, but again, these are contributions to specific projects such as bridges and lean-to. I don't have a precise explanation. I think Christie's got her hand up, that might be able to help us.
Compared to last year, we had the campaign for the campaign restricted fund for capital use. So for the 18. So compared to last year, we are down because we had that campaign in like May, June, July of last year. So
what I was hoping was that it was shifting to unrestricted, but guess not.
Thank you for your question, Linda. Any other questions? Okay, let me move on to a report on board activity. First of all, there's been a lot of transitions during 2020, 2021. I prefer to see them as how we move forward in the times that we're given. We're here for a stronger and a better FLTC so we can stay true to our mission, which, by the way, the mission of the Finger Lakes Trail Conference is to build, maintain, enhance, and promote a continuous footpath across New York State for the enjoyment and health of residents and visitors forever. And I think we're doing our best to stay true to that mission, regardless of the times that are around us. Let me just comment on a few things from a board perspective. The first one may seem like a small thing, but it's not. And that is the annual meeting. We've made a shift from springtime being the annual meeting to the fall time. So that is a transition, and it's also a way of us moving forward. The FLTC has always had 2 weekends, one in the spring, one in the fall. And now they're going to be more focused than they were before. So the spring weekend, whatever it's going to be called, is really for an outreach to get other people who may not be familiar with the FLT to find out a little bit more about us. And one of the tools or strategies that's currently being used is trail days. I'm sure that's going to continue through the future. The fall weekend now will become more focused on membership, which makes sense for it to house the annual meeting. Awards, whether they be FLTC awards, NCTA awards, whether it be County Hike Series awards, but recognizing people that have participated through the organization. We also are trying to embed the end of the County Hike Series as often as we can, again, getting members to celebrate with members. Another thing that's occurred as a transition is the updating our database. You've heard me talk about that over the last several years, but I want to let you know that we decided when we first wanted to upgrade our database that we wanted a custom database. And because of that, it has taken time to get it where we want it. We think we have it really close. And because we have it really close, we now can meet the needs of the trail. We can meet the needs of membership. We can meet the needs of marketing as we understand it, and we'll have to continue to customize it as we move forward to meet our future needs as well. The next area that I want to comment about is the people that volunteer and also are paid staff for the organization, because we are moving forward. And there are bumps along the way that we have to recognize as we grow the organization forward. People in leadership positions that are leaving, whether it's for retirements, like Linda Rummel. Linda served as Vice President of Trail Quality for a very long time, and we appreciated everything you did. Linda, thank you very much for your dedication and your work with the FLT. But I also recognize that Linda has to move on, and so do other people. Another example from the paid end of it was Quinn Wright. Quinn Wright also retired this year, and it caused us to take a look at just those two instances. It caused us to take a look at our leadership model and how we are going to move forward efficiently and effectively on behalf of all of the members and also people that are using the trail. So we've taken a look at our leadership model that we have, and you heard Will allude to it earlier about paid staff versus volunteer staff. One of the things that we did during this past year was we took a look at our leadership model. And what we've decided is that we would have 3 directors and a part-time executive director. So our current leadership model looks like this. We have a director of operations. That's Debbie Hunt. She runs the office and also the operations for the organization. We have director of marketing and membership. That's Christy Post. Christy's been doing the membership and marketing, getting communications out, looking at strategies to increase membership and donations. I think Christy, you've been doing that now for 1.5 years, 2 years. So we've been working on that strategy for a couple of years now. The third member of our leadership team from a paid point of view is our director of trail development. This was a new hire. It's Michaela Aney. She's not on the call today. She had an earlier commitment that she couldn't break. Michaela is taking over, understanding everything trail related. With Linda's retirement and possibly other people in key leadership positions related to the trail, as those people stop volunteering and we have a difficult time finding somebody to fill the position, for example, trail quality, we've been looking for a volunteer to take that position for, I would say, at least a couple of years, and have had no luck doing that. So Michaela is filling in the gaps where we have gaps in our trail area. Michaela has also been filling in for an RTC gap that we had, just closing those gaps up so that we can continue moving forward. The last paid position that we have is the executive director. That position has been in flux over the last, I'll say 5 or 6 years, going from back when I first started on the board a dozen years or so ago as a part-time position. It went to a full-time position. It went to half-time position. And now we're working on a 10-hour position. There are certain functions that the executive director does that still needs to continue. And currently, when Quinn retired, we hired Deb Nero as our current executive director. Deb, if you remember, was part of the board as the executive vice president. So that's our current leadership model that we have. I think it does raise questions for us as an organization to understand our volunteer status, our paid paid staff status and how those two pieces blend together. It also calls into question, the role of the executive director. Do we need a person to do those, a person to do those functions, or is it something that can be done differently? And I don't know what that means, but those are the issues that the board will be looking at in its near future. We also help, I mean, everything that I've just talked about really has been driven by our financial sustainability plan and our strategic plan that we did a couple of years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago now, with Jennifer Patrick. She was a consultant that helped us work through these issues. So in spite of the pandemic, we paid attention to that plan and keep moving forward. I think we have put communication at the top of the list of things that need to be done in that plan, which also means increasing membership. Part of the plan was to hire a trail development person. We actually are a little bit ahead of schedule on that, but saw the need and moved that a little bit up forward. The other thing that was coming up was roving crews. That was part of our plan to help take care of hot spots, if you will, that needed attention along the trail. In the plan, it was going to be paid positions. But John Bowen found out that there's actually, John Bowen is our Vice President of Trail Maintenance, discovered along with Michaela, our Director of Trail Operations, that there are volunteers that are willing to do projects. So we may not, as we look forward, we may not need to pay roving crews. We may have volunteers that do that. So all of those things will factor into our next review of the financial sustainability plan and our strategic plan. So I just want to kind of conclude by saying we have a plan. It is not static. It's moving us forward. You'll continue to get regular reports from me either on the progress or if we need input for the plan. I may come to you through the footnotes. I may come to you through the FLT magazine, but you can count on us keeping you informed about how the organization is moving forward. And then finally, the thing I just wanted to say was I want to thank each one of you for your support to the FLT, whether you're a member, whether you're a donor, a volunteer, a landowner. We can't do it without each one of us doing our little part to make this a great organization and to make the FLT the premier footpath of New York State. So those are just my general comments. I'd like to turn it over to our Executive Director, Deb Nero. So take comments from Deb, excuse me, Deb Nero.
Okay, I get to talk about FLTC activities and accomplishments. And we've done some great things this year in spite of challenges. So I'm actually sitting in my car in the parking lot of Blodgett Mills Park because I'm at the picnic for the Cross County Hike Series. This year, the Cross County Hike Series was hiking through Cortland County, and today was the last hike, and so we're having a put together the last minute picnic at this park. It's a very, very pretty little park if you're ever out towards Blodgett Mills. And they've been clapping and carrying on in the background because they've been handing out the certificates for the people that completed the county hikes. So the hike series was a success. At this point, we've had, I think, about 50 people or so complete, and people can still continue to work on it. We had to rejuggle things a little bit, the spacing of the hikes and when they were held to work around COVID issues, but it was a goer. Everybody that did it had a great time, and we're deep in the planning process for next year's Cross County Hike Series, which will be Tompkins County. Siggy Schwingy organized this year, and I'm organizing next year in Tompkins. So if you have any interest in the Cross County Hike Series, either you want to do it Information signups will be late next spring. If you want to help with it, please, please, please email me or Peg Fuller, who's our chairperson of the activities committee, and tell us you want to help. But we're hoping for a great year with hiking across Tompkins County next year. The other successful hike program that I've been helping with is Hiking 101, which is intended for people who don't do much hiking. They're relatively short hikes utilizing the passport hikes, and done one a month throughout the summer. And we've got a couple more to go. Get a few people to each of those and help them have a great time on the trail and talk to them about the Finger Lakes Trail and the trail conference, hoping they continue to hike. As Pat has mentioned, the trail side of the organization has been busily working this summer on improvement projects and alley cats, including improvements to the Letchworth Branch Trail, which involved volunteers from the Finger Lakes Trail Conference and also volunteers from the American Hiking Society, which was kind of cool. And another alley cat project in the Holland Ravines on the Conservation Branch Trail. And the people who deal with the alley cat projects, Michaela Aney, John Bowen, and the RTCs are deep into planning projects for next year. I'd like to highlight a couple of trail preservation issues, which have worked out well. In the last year, the FLTC bought a parcel of land which extends from Hoxie Gorge State Park and takes us out to a road access to protect the trail in that region. So we now own that parcel, and it'll be ours, and but it protects the trail through a critical section where going from the state forest to the nearest road crossing was across private land, which was at some risk of losing trail access. So we bought that piece of property actually to keep the trail access, to keep the trail open. Mary Coffin deserves a big thanks for getting us an easement on a property outside Solon. These are both in Cortland County, outside Solon, where the trail comes down through Baker Schoolhouse State Forest and goes across private property to a road crossing. And the easement protects the trail coming out of the state forest to the road. So again, that's another critical parcel that now know the trail will be able to stay on. As Pat has mentioned, the Board of Managers, the officers, and our Director of Marketing and Communications and Director of Trail Development have been working diligently to improve the trail and bolster the profile of the Finger Lakes Trail Conference. And that's been quite successful. For instance, membership numbers have continued to grow. Christy gave me some membership numbers. So 2018, we had 852 members, 2019, 863, so relatively stable. Last year, 2020, we were up to 933, so an increase of 80 or so. And this year, year to date, we're at 852. So we're looking to maintain or increase over 2020. And one exciting thing is that those memberships, the new memberships this year, so people who've never been members before, has doubled over that of last year. So we have 310 new memberships this year compared to 156 for the same period last year. We've also gained some individual lifetime memberships and lifetime family memberships in the last year. So the marketing and communications piece of it has picked up steam, and people are looking for outdoor activities to do, hiking being one of them. They're finding the Finger Lakes Trail, and they're finding out about the Finger Lakes Trail, and they're becoming members. App sales have also increased markedly over the last few years. So 2018, about $7,000 worth of map sales. 2019, it went way up to 19,000, and 2020, it's doubled again. Okay, I don't have numbers for 2021 yet. That's partly because, remember, the computer system is down at the office because of the power outage. So some of this stuff is a little to come up with right now. So thanks to our diligent work by Christy Post in marketing and communications, things are on an upward trend, which is great. And I'd like to showcase an upcoming event. So on October 2nd, Saturday, October 2nd, we're going to have Trails Day. It'll be based at the Steuben Brewing Company outside Hammondsport, New York. In the morning, there will be guided hikes and bike rides. And in the afternoon, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., there will be activities, info tables, climbing wall, stuff for kids, lawn games at the brewing company. Then in the evening from 4 until 7, there will be a band. So there'll be food trucks, obviously beverages on sale at the brewery. Steuben Brewing Company is the one that created the Ithaca Trails Ale and has been selling that and donating part of the proceeds to the Finger Lakes Trail Conference. So please attend, bring your family, bring your friends to Trails Day on October 2nd. Should be a great time. It's a chance to thank members and landowners and have fun and meet new people. And I think that's my report, Pat. Thank you.
Pat, you're muted.
I'm sure other people would like to have that button. Anyways, thank you, Dan and Amy, for that chat note. Appreciate that. Appreciate your help with organizing this event as well. I'd like to open it up for questions or comments from the people that are here on Zoom meeting. Would you raise your hand and I can see if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to make? I don't see anybody's hands up or anybody wanting to ask a question. So I just want to let people know that the next board meeting will be virtual. It's on Wednesday, September 22nd. It will be at 7 o'clock, since I know I have quite a few board members on the call. Again, thank you very much for spending a Saturday afternoon at the annual Finger Lakes Trail Conference meeting. I appreciate all of your support in however fashion that you give it. We have a great trail. We have a great volunteer group, and we also have a great staff to make this a wonderful experience for everybody that wants to visit and enjoy. So do I have a motion to end the meeting? Donna Flood. And a second? Chris DeGolier is going to raise her hand for that. Thank you, Chris. I don't think there'll be any further discussion. If there's anybody opposed, they are more than welcome to stay on the call as long as you want. So having said that, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everybody.